In today's video, we're going to talk about my Chanel deal breakers. I recently saw Bargain Hunting Blonde's video, and I thought instead of leaving a comment, I can make a video. This is a topic that was on my list of videos to film. I thought she did a great job, and I agree with all of her points, and I'll be adding some of my own in this video. I'll be adding photos to visually show you what all those points meant. So her video is about Preloved deal breakers, but as you may already know, some new Chanel bags from the store come with defects, so some of these things will apply to new bags. Unfortunately, that's the reality of buying Chanel. So before we get started, remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. So I agree with the point she made about the patent leather. It changes color, it gets sticky, it gets color transfer, and it's so much harder to get them off. But for me, the patent leather looks very plasticky, and so I personally don't find it elegant. I live in a dry climate, so there's hardly any rain. For those of you who live in more of a rainy climate, maybe patent is a good option for you. But for someone living in a dry climate, it is definitely a no. Next up for me is no more iridescent or metallic Chanel bags. The reason I'm saying no more is because I currently own an iridescent bag, and I recently let go of the metallic bag. This is the mini in the iridescent, and the leather is treated. And so it ages much faster. It also wears faster, and it cannot be fixed. You can't just repaint the corners. And this is also true for the metallic. I bought this directly from the store, and I'm super scared to use it, so I've actually never used this bag. And so for me, no more iridescent or metallic bags. Next up, no more tweed bags. Or at least the light colored tweed. So this is the infamous tweed houndstooth with the Chanel ribbon. I definitely fell into the hype, and I did own the Chanel 19 in the larger size in the tweed, and I never wore it. And I like this so much, I actually bought 2 of these pouches. Since then, I let one of the pouch go, and I'm ready to let go of this pouch. But the reason I'm saying no more tweed is, you can see that the material is woven, and it could easily be pulled. And this one has light colors, so it stains easy. And yes, you could spot clean it, but I'm afraid that it may discolor it. There's one tweed bag that I'm conflicted about, and it's the Chanel 19 bag in the maxi size with the gold houndstooth. That tweed is not a light colored tweed, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm not sure how often I would carry it. I really need to stay away from the light colored tweed material. When you're looking for a vintage Chanel bag, some of them may actually have some mold on the inside if the bag is from a country that has humidity. So let me explain. This is a small plastic flap in the lambskin, and sometimes it can get moldy on the inside pockets. So here, here, and here. Yes, it can be repaired, but you need to be aware that when you do make repairs like this, it can actually devalue your bag. Next deal breaker is that the serial number inside the bag is not intact, which means I can't read the full number, or it's missing entirely. So for classic flaps, the sticker should be on this side at the bottom, and the reason why it's important for me is, first of all, it tells me what year the bag was made in, and without it, it actually devalues the item. So if I can't read the serial number, it's a no-go for me. No recoloring or repainting the bag. So I'm not talking about slight corner touch-ups, like around here and here. Those are usually okay, but having the bag repainted a whole different color or even the same color, it changes the texture of the leather, so it's no longer buttery soft. The other thing is, if the bag has been recolored, so let's say this bag was originally this beige color and it was painted black. Then you'll see the outside of this bag to be black. But when you open the bag, you'll see all the inside, like here and here, it would be beige. The next deal breaker is no yellowing on white bags. So this is a vintage Chanel bag, and it's over 25 years old, and there's no yellowing in the white. Often, the yellowing happens when it's left out in the sun. And for me, seeing a yellow bag is very, very sad. So I like my whites crisp, and so if there's yellowing, I will definitely pass on the bag. So the next deal breaker is no structural wear. I did buy a bag a while ago, not realizing it had structure, and so since then I've sold it. Currently, I don't have any bags with structure wear. Chanel 19 in the larger size is notorious for structure wear, but it can happen to any Chanel bag. And because the bag is sinking on itself, I don't find any joy in using it. If you come across some great deals on the Preloved market, check for structure wear. Next, I look to see if the front flap is straight. So as you can see here, the front flap is straight. This is something you should be looking out for in new bags, because recently, other people have commented that brand new Chanel bags could have slightly crooked front flap, which is a huge no-no for me. I really enjoyed watching Maria Draganova's adventure in trying to find the trendy CC in the green with the straight front flap, so I'll link that video in the description below. But yes, it's a real thing. Then the next thing I look for is minimal corner wear. So I'm okay with minimal corner wear, but not major corner wear. Another thing that I don't like is deflated quilts. So surprisingly, there are some new bags that have deflated quilts, and that's a huge no-no for me. I really like the vintage classic flaps, and although they're like 25 years old, the ones I have no deflated quilts. And I bought all of them from the Preloved market. There's less and less Preloved bags that have puffy quilts, but it's not impossible to find. It's hard to find, but it's not impossible to find. And some people comment that they actually like the deflated quilt look. I don't. So that is your judgment call. But for me, if there's a deflated quilt, I am not interested. So the next one is no scratches in the front. When I'm searching for some hard to find bags, it's really difficult to get one that's in pristine condition or in excellent condition. So depending on the price and how hard the color is to find, and the hardware, sometimes I'm okay with scratches on the back. This is a discontinued jumbo clutch, and this color is really hard to find, and the price on this was really excellent. And this was priced at about half the price as all the other ones. There's a scratch here and here, but even though it's scratched, it's still blue. So although I would prefer it without the scratch, to me, the scratches on the back here was acceptable. But if it had that scratch on the front, I would not be okay with that. On a side note, so I decided to wear my Chanel dog tag necklace. I've had this for a couple years. The only downside is when I'm walking around, it kind of rattles. So I kind of feel like a cat who's wearing one of those bell collars. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this necklace or not. What do you guys think? So next, I want to talk about zippers. So after I bought this item, I realized I don't like items where the zipper has the cotton in the light colors. It gets dirty and you can totally see the wear. And you can see that the zipper is gold, but the cotton that's around the zipper is light pink. I intend to use this as a makeup case. So if I store my makeup and foundation, all the cotton around the zipper is going to get dirty in time. So I ended up buying the same exact vanity case in the black. And because the cotton around the zipper is in a darker color, I'm a lot less afraid to use this vanity case. The next deal breaker is a Chanel item that has a zipper that goes all the way around. Opening it isn't too bad, but closing it is another story. Let me show you. Opening wasn't too bad. Let's try closing this. Because it's so hard to close, I can't be bothered to use this item. So no more items where the zipper goes all the way around. So I'm okay with Chanel items where the zipper is just one way. This is my Gabrielle Hobo. And you can see that the zipper just goes in one direction. It doesn't turn a corner. And this is easy to open and close. So as long as I don't have to turn the corner, I'm totally okay with that. So I have a list of nice to haves. These are not deal breakers. So obviously I want the authenticity card, but it's not a must-have. If I had a choice between an excellent condition bag with no authenticity card and a bag that is in good quality, not in excellent condition, but it has the authenticity card, I would go for the bag in the better condition. What's important to me may not be important to you. So having the original box and the dust bag is a nice to have for me. And of all the items that I bought pre-loved, I actually don't have a single bag that came with the original box or the dust bag. Having the card, the original box, and the dust bag is a must-have. There's a YouTuber, I believe Hey June. For her, these are must-haves, and that's totally fine. So everybody should come up with your own must-haves and your deal breakers. So the question is, are smells a deal breaker? For most people, like the cigarette smell is a deal breaker. I did buy a Gucci bag on eBay like 15 years ago, and it had a strong cigarette smell, and the buyer didn't disclose it. And yes, it was off-putting, but I left the bag out just kind of in the open in my living room for like 6 months, and it actually went away. So I think it really depends on how great the deal is. Some people are not okay with perfume smells. I find that the perfume smells go away faster than the cigarette smells. So although I would prefer it not to come with a perfume smell, it's definitely not a deal breaker. So let's talk about old storage smell. I think that if it's a moldy smell, I think that would be a problem. And having mold is a deal breaker for me. In general, if the item feels, looks, or smells old, I don't find any joy in using the item. So I would say no to like old storage smell. I personally have not gotten a bag with old storage smell, so I don't know if that goes away in time. But I would say no to that. So let's talk about a deal breaker that I don't think anyone's talked about, and that's payment method. If I can only pay with a bank transfer, that's a deal breaker. I personally had a bad experience with this, and I'm going to say that 99.9% I will not do a bank transfer. And if I do a bank transfer, it's definitely an unusual exception. But doing a bank transfer is very risky, so I would be really careful about doing a bank transfer. And I noticed in the last couple years, the trend is to buy pre-loved items from IG sellers, and a lot of them want bank transfers. I'm not saying that the IG sellers are trying to get you. It's just that the bank transfer is one way, so you really have to think about the risk that you're taking. And if somebody has a bag that is hard to get and it's a great deal, some deals could be too good to be true. So just be careful out there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.